use every little bit of it.
Yes, yes.
And I've been to Cary Furnace, in across the road from Homestead,
Right.
and you have the furnace, I mean the blast furnace, and then on next to it you have a big thing like this, and they say the dust goes into there and it circles around. I guess it kind of collects.
I guess it must be a mixer.
Yeah. But that's interesting. I didn't know you were directly involved with that. Do you remember about what year that was?
What was my name again? That would have been...
Was that early in your career or later?
No, it was later.
Okay.
In fact, we made 5,000 tons of this stuff for U.S. Steel. In Chicago, and ran it, and it performed just like conventional pellets, only it was less expensive.
And then where was that company based out of? It was based in Pittsburgh as well?
Yes.
The company you were president
Yes.
of? I wanted, I have a picture here of the furnace, and I'll see
I'd like to see that.
seeing if I'm thinking of the right contraption here. Okay, so here is. Let me brighten it up for you. Okay, so there's the furnace there.
Well,
You
that's
can
a
see
blast
that?
furnace there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this probably was the collector of...
There we go. I think right there.
Yeah, that would be a device to collect the fines. But I don't remember that.
Yeah, Cary Furnace is not in perfect condition, so not everything would look the same, but it is impressive just to see that small bit of, thing that survives from that entire mill. That's amazing. So what happened? What did you do after you were president? After you had the invention?
At some point, I resigned or retired. But that's a long time ago. I don't remember. This is not a really very good interview for you.
No, this is good information. That's the amazing thing with these interviews. They can be edited, so it would look like you have a perfect memory.
I think you should ask Mike what he thinks about my memory. Not real good.
Did you hear these stories prior to memory?
Similar stories.
Most of them were similar, yeah. I knew about that he invented this process, and you've been all over the world with that, right? I mean, not just, you've been everywhere in the world.
Do you still have do you have any of the patents or any of the papers? Do you remember?
I had... No. Here's what happened. I developed this, and we did pilot plant testing. Worked like a charm. One of the people working with me was a guy from Brazil, and he was involved in trying to develop what I had already developed. And he was then hired by the largest iron ore producer in the world. They didn't want somebody else making pellets out of their fines, and they screened them. And that guy, we were that far away from getting an order for a commercial sized plant, and he was hired away from what, we didn't have a company. I mean, and I can't remember his name. But in any event, I wish I could come up with the name of the Brazilian company. It's the largest iron ore producing company in the world.
More so than the iron that comes out of Michigan or anything
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that knocked me dead on that, because the guy who was working with me, he's now working for them, and he used the pellets, no, the patents that we had worked on, but they ran out. Slow developing.
Was that Marcos?
Contrucci. Marcos Contrucci. Contrucci, and there might be a second I on it.
That's a good memory. Just one prompt, and you can spell it out.
He got tired of hearing about it.
And so, did you retire before the steel industry collapsed in Pittsburgh, or after? Do you remember?
Oh,
Before the 1980s?
I can't. That's ridiculous. I can't remember. I did move to Florida. Lived on the coast at Fort Lauderdale. A nice
Very nice.
Place to live.
Briefly.
Actually, I guess when I retired, I didn't work at anything. I mean, I did things, but I didn't work full time at anything.
Now, another kind of off-topic question. Did you ever go to Kennywood when you were younger?
But I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
It was exciting. Did you go there? That roller coaster was the largest in the world, I think.
Hmm.
It was kind of fun. The high schools, that was their summer special. They all tried to get a class load of students to go to Kennywood Park.
Did you ever go to the dance halls there? The dance hall? That might have burned by that time. I only ask because I've interviewed a couple people, and they met their husband or wife at Kennywood at one of the dance halls. So.
Huh.
Did you meet your wife in Pittsburgh?
Yes. There she is. The big picture. And the picture behind you. Redhead with blue eyes. And as a piece of information that might be helpful to you, it is almost always the results of redheads. They will have blue eyes. And her, God, I bet Myrna is still alive. Her sister is a redhead with blue eyes. I should call Myrna.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Well,
I really appreciate that.
I hope some of it will be helpful.
It will. I mean, just what you've witnessed in the steel industry in Pittsburgh. From when you were in college all the way up until you retired, you saw a lot of change. And
Well,
a lot more efficient process. Although, unfortunately, all that efficiency, then it's all gone now in Pittsburgh, but it happens.
well, I have not been out to Edgar Thompson works. It just restarted recently, didn't it?
I don't know how many years ago. I don't know if it completely restarted or maybe just a portion, but it's working. I think it's 24 hours. It's fully operational,
Yeah.
continuous.
Well, they, in their case, produced liquid iron. And they still are, I think. And then they took it across the river in a shaped thing like this.
A torpedo car.
Yes. Oh, you have better vocabulary than I do. They went across the hot metal bridge. I think that's what was down there. But there are a number of hot metal bridges in the Pittsburgh district. And they take them over, take it up. You could either pour the liquid iron directly into a continuous caster or no, that wouldn't be good. You have to go through a steel making. But in any event, they could put it in another thing, which was called a. This is a neat one. It was a huge football-shaped things, and Edgar Thompson would ship the metal that they produced and dump it into there, and then it would get dumped out of there into ladles suitable in charging to blast furnaces. But there have been many strange things in the iron making and steel making.
And did you ever see the slag being dumped over the hillside?
Oh, there's very fine home as you go out of Pittsburgh through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And it would be going.
Summerfield or Summerland or.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That is an entire slag hill, and it's expensive homes.
Somerset.
Maybe Somerset. Yeah. Did you ever watch them pour it?
Oh,
I
yeah.